Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also, check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
What is a podcast?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Having a bad run, so what? Right, just give me 5,000 more.
5,000 more?
Always stand by your first count. The odds are you're right.
I didn't lose.
That's it, Griswold. You are freaking dead.
You know, I'm going to be playing in this casino. I like this place, and I'm going to be spending some money.
Welcome to you. This is the podbaydoor.com. You can find us on the podbaydoor.com. You can check our YouTube channel, the Pod Bay Door Podcast, and also check our enhanced blog. After every podcast, we do articles and clickable downloads and links and about everything we talk about. So check that out. And that's at WordPress. It's podbaydoor.wordpress.com, or check our.com and click on that big W there. Coming up on this episode, we will discuss how should Las Vegas change for nerds and millennials, and are they the same thing? Also, Android citizens, rocket cars, and the upcoming Infinity War Part 1. With the Nerd Alert, I know, woo! With the Nerd Alert, Gear Grinders, and Area 52. Also, a quick update. I had mentioned an interview with my friend Sophia. She is a great singer in town and works a lot of the lounges. Unfortunately, her kids got sick, and we had to postpone that. But that interview will happen next week, and will debut on episode 41. We are on episode 40, Adam.
Nice.
Welcome.
40.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I thought so. Now, Sam's not here. He's sick.
Poor Sam.
Yeah,
we'll see him next week, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see him next week. Hello, Sam.
He's going to miss out on this, Infinity War trailer thing.
I know. He's going to be very jealous. Sam, I think, is the largest nerd in every sense of the word.
Yes. Large in size, large
That's
in
right.
capacity.
But I'm sure there's a ton of stuff he wanted to say about Infinity War. So
Right.
I did my homework. I watched the trailer.
Yeah, it was the most downloaded trailer of all time.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It beat out It from earlier this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ever, huh?
230 million trailers in the first day, I think.
Wow, okay.
Or 230 million
Views,
downloads.
yeah. That's amazing. Well, I wrote some notes on that. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up in the Nerd Alert. But we love the comments. Have had some interesting ones. All about all the negative ones are about me. All the positive ones about Adam and the guests. So
we've had good debates. We'll say that
we've had good debates. I find it very interesting. I listen to Joe Rogan, Corolla, all the majors, including recently some of the Apple people because they're launching all the new stuff.
Sure.
And they all mention the fact that there's just a large percentage that are just.
They're just negative trolls.
Negative trolls. There's negative.
I mean, you're gonna get both sides of the coin, right? So.
Yeah, and I find it interesting. There's negative trolls that can carry on a conversation and can write.
Sure.
There's a negative troll that is just
that's just like mouth garbage. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but they still seem like they don't need lithium. And then there's the negative troll that is just straight out nutbag.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I've been
hit with all levels.
Yeah. I as watching all these other major podcasters, I've been counseled to let it go.
Yeah. I'm sure Rogan's got his,
He says he doesn't even look anymore.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he said he can't take it. He was up till 3 a.m. fighting with people. So, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. However, we
only have time for one comment that we can argue on.
Yeah,
at a time,
exactly. However, we love them all. Keep sending those in every format possible. Please do. And today we have Steffi and friends commented, and we've already talked about this in the pre-show. Thanks for being old and relevant. You're welcome.
we could take that a few ways, but yes, you're welcome.
We love the show. Well, thank you very much. We do appreciate that very much. Do you think Las Vegas is still trendy? Right off the bat, Adam.
Yep.
What do you think?
Well,
I have a general statement.
Trendy seems to be like a new age word.
Yes.
So it's kind of conflicting with the statement, thanks for being old and relevant, and then still jumping into a new trendy type of situation.
Yes.
I still think that Vegas has like that old school vibe to it.
Yes.
But it is trying to be more trendy. We'll get into it a little bit more later with the millennials and the nerd side.
Right.
But I think that, are kind of one and the same. We'll also,
I think so.
argue that later. But
my general statement in an answer to Steffi and her friends is that Las Vegas is as trendy as she needs to be at any given time, and then she spits it out. So she will welcome the hipsters and their
adapts and then kind of Borg-like.
Right. She'll be a foodie town if you need her to be, and then she'll spit those folks out, and then she'll be a family town. God forbid we do that again.
Right.
But
cater to whoever's coming.
Yeah.
To whoever's traveling.
Right.
At the time.
I think that it controversially said, I think that Las Vegas is the ultimate trendy town. Meaning that she is
got a little bit of everything.
She's the chameleon of the marketing process, and we have some examples. I have good friends over at the Cosmopolitan, and the Cosmopolitan right now is essentially, arguably, the most trendy place in town.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. We were talking again in the pre-show about the Palms. They're trying to restart their trendy process.
They've lost the trendiness.
Yeah, they fell right off the table. And then we have, of course, Cosmo has the #1 club in town. And, trendy gets set aside to money making. Marquee may
Definitely
or may not be trendy, but it kills it at the bar.
Sure.
#1 in the world. Even against clubs in Ibiza.
And like beyond the #2 by leaps and bounds, if I remember right.
Well, #2 is Hakkasan,
right,
and it's way beyond that.
Yeah, way beyond that.
But we have really cool things, and I looked up a couple of articles, and I love what they said was trendy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and Cosmo #1 on the list.
House music.
Yeah, house music. One restaurant that popped up on almost every article that I read and every list that I looked into, Skinny Fats.
Okay.
Have you been there?
I have a friend of mine that actually works there.
Really?
Yeah, he's a cook. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Really good food.
Really good food.
Yeah.
And I think because they cater to, if you want a heart bomb or if you want lettuce
some
wraps.
healthy stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Their menu is definitely diverse.
Yeah.
And like their burgers definitely, they're full size.
Right. Right.
And
now where is Skinny Fats?
a couple of locations now. So
is it more than one?
Yeah,
okay.
the one that I went to was over kind of in the industrial area.
Gotcha. Downtown?
Yeah. No, kind of like Sunset and Dean Martin area.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, over in that.
All right. It's possible you can be on Dean Martin and Dean Martin. Do you know that? You can be on.
We can be on Sunset and Sunset.
You can be on Sunset and Sunset, but you can be on Dean Martin and Sammy Davis.
Nice.
Unfortunately, you can't. There's no cross section to where you can be on Frank Sinatra and anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just Frank, which I guess is the way it should be, right?
Right. Well, he's the one.
He's
right?
the man.
Yeah.
But Skinny Fats, Marky, of course, and then one that came up, which a giant amen, the Golden Tiki Lounge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it came up on one of the trendy lists, and I have
never been there actually.
I have been there. It is fantastic.
Okay.
We all need to go.
Huh.
Golden Tiki is a tiki bar. There's a really famous one that Anthony Bourdain loves to go to in San Francisco. This one I think is better. It's got Gilligan's Island playing on the television. It's got wonderful statues and all different types of things. Like if you went to the Tiki Lounge over at the Disneyland, a lot of stuff like that.
Huh.
It's got Dole Whip, which already gets my vote. Great drinks. They don't serve. This is the most unique part about it, and I love it. They don't serve food, but they can have food on the premises, which they make. They say that on their marketing. And there's a wonderful Chinese restaurant right next door.
Yeah, sure.
Who will deliver to your table at the Golden Tiki.
Nice.
Already very.
Oh
cool.
man, they probably get a lot of business there.
That's right. Golden Tiki. It's Chinatown. and right down the street off of a road called Spring Mountain, down the street from
Nice.
Mirage and Treasure Island.
There you go.
Yeah, fantastic. So, long answer, but yes,
Right.
Vegas is very trendy.
Still very trendy.
I think, until she's not.
Sure. Depends
Until-
on what you're looking for.
Yeah, until
you know?
she, and hopefully she'll take the skinny jeans and the hats and the beards and spit those out.
Send them back the way they came.
That's right.
With no money and probably no shirt on.
Right. Now, yeah, let him keep the hat. We're going to flip things today because we're talking about Las Vegas being trendy and relevant. Concierge Chronicle today, keeping Las Vegas relevant. One thing I said in the beginning was and Adam, please answer this, because I don't represent either group.
Sure.
Millennials and nerds, are they the same?
I think that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
I think somewhere along the lines, the nerds took over.
Right.
From the jocks and the, kind of, I don't know, manlier attitudes of the 80s, right? And
Right.
then the nerds took over in the 90s, and then, obviously they're the millennials,
Sure.
in the 90s and the 2000s. So, I think they are pretty close to being one and the same. So you have to kind of plan for those types of people. And like you said, Vegas has done a pretty good job, influencing certain parts of its culture to,
Right.
get those people,
Right.
to come to Vegas.
Now, in the last podcast, we actually talked about this in general. There were some interesting trends coming as far as Las Vegas addressing millennials. Now, I wanted to get your opinion because, Adam, we've always, made fun of you. You're on the ass end of the millennial decade.
Sure.
I don't think you particularly represent it 100%. But you do mathematically. I mean,
Sure.
you're right in there.
No, I definitely have some tendencies,
Yeah, but as far as the nerd culture
Yeah.
and that type of thing, I think you 100%
I
represent
definitely
that.
jumped on board with that really
Yeah.
early on. So,
Yeah. So having both of those badges on, we talked about several things that the casinos are doing in a gaming effort. One of which is that millennials apparently they like to do things as a collective. They want to do things in a group and have the group efforts affect each one equally.
Okay. Got to
Now-
bring their squad in.
Yeah, the squad, right? Squad goals. Now, you were a dealer. You're Nerd Nation millennial.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? It's akin to basically what they're saying is millennials want Vegas to turn into communal eating,
More of a group dynamic.
group dynamics, which failed in the 80s. I don't know why they want to come back. And they want gaming to be more like a board game. The other thing that they said was that they want all of their gaming experiences to have the digital aspect, meaning that apparently millennials love the video dealers. They love the video craps. They love video blackjack. They love the hot chick throwing the cards.
Sure.
She's not there. She's on a television screen. But they want your bet and my bet and everybody's bet to affect each other. Much like
They want to win as a group.
They want to win as a group, much like the board games of today, like Pandemic, Walking Dead that we've played, and things of that nature, where it's a collective. It's
Maybe
cooperative.
that's why people are millennials are kind of moving toward board games and away from gambling. As more of a group dynamic there than there are at a blackjack table.
Right. Now you're not a huge gambler. You like live poker. You'll throw the bones down the line every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, but now the huge thing that is going to cost Vegas is the look of everything. Apparently, right now the standard slot machines and the slot carousels carry no interest. The millennials and their little bit of money is walking right by.
It's got to be a theme. They gotta have The Walking Dead. They gotta have the whatever it is. They gotta have the loud flashy lights. More than just the the knobs and the reels.
Now, is there anything about the gaming experience that you feel either subliminally or just straight out attracts you? Like when you're walking through Planet Hollywood, which is probably the most cheesy one of them all. Is there anything? Is there a ding? Is there a whoosh? Is there a theme? Is there a way they arrange things that attracts you that you think?
I'm sure there's definitely a science behind the way they arrange things.
Right.
you know, it for me, you know, maybe a sound effect, maybe you know something that would you know bring back you know some kind of video game or movie. You know, maybe the themes thing would probably work for me because you know I don't really gamble on any of the old type machines, play Keno, any of that kind of stuff. So they got something to go
Nothing
in there.
wrong with Keno. Love Keno.
if you can hit on it,
right.
Otherwise, you know, it's just pick a random number.
Absolutely. Now, what is Christmas is coming. Obviously, we just got through Black Friday, thank God. Yes. And you know, board games are making a huge resurgence. What if there was a board game themed collective area? I mean, you think you would reinstitute gambling into your life? I mean,
well, you know, there are some bars that are nerd themed that have board games, you know, at the bar, but that doesn't, you know, attract me to the bar. And
no.
You know, I play and drink at my house. That's what a lot of millennials do. You know,
for a lot cheaper.
For a lot cheaper, exactly. That's what the clubs need to really find out. You know, how to bring the prices down and get people in without you know making them feel. You know, make them feel more at home, I guess.
Right,
you
right.
Know,
now, another thing which I found to be, I couldn't work out the tech to where Las Vegas is going to be safe. The huge thing that apparently millennials and below, they want interactivity and cross-platform for their gaming experience to go directly to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that the casinos would make themselves safe, because you're opening a gateway that is just absolutely hackable.
Well, if they start you know, putting Instagram, you know, dots on the blackjack table so you can take pictures at the table, you know, how far does that go?
Right.
You know,
exactly.
I know the gaming community will hate that. They don't like any pictures around anything gaming wise. So.
Right.
But you know, the millennials love to snap everything. So.
Right. Now, you know, instituting Boolean logic, you know, is a millennial a nerd and a nerd a millennial? See, I mean, if I have a nerd in front of me,
well, that's not necessarily true.
See, it's not.
No,
yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah, because there are plenty of old nerds.
Yes,
you know, you got a Captain America shirt on.
I do.
You know,
I do.
So
I wore that. Yeah.
There's a guy that I saw on I think it was a Facebook chat that had been collecting Pokemon cards since they came out. He was like 63 and he sold his Pokemon card collection for like $500,000, you know. So
right.
You can be old nerd.
Okay. So you just feel that the there's no direct tunnel to both. I mean, Las Vegas would have to split their marketing techniques to either a nerd or a millennial. And nerds that aren't millennials actually statistically have more money.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm in my 40s, and I'm statistically now, I'm going to have more money than the millennial right now, and definitely the ones below, Gen Y.
Yeah. Yeah, you're true there.
Yeah.
Maybe you know, the nerd bars at the clubs, you know, they can attract the older nerd with, you know, more money to spend,
right?
You know, because they're charging those drink prices, you know, and the millennials can stay at home and you know, drink their craft beer, I guess.
See, the interesting thing about, to me, millennials want to be out, you know, and Julia was here.
Well, see, they want to like prove that they're out, but they don't really want to go out.
Right, so
like they'll take pictures of like their food and stuff to like prove that they went out to eat, right? But then they'll just go right back home and like, you know.
Okay. Oh, so, okay. See, I thought that was Julia was here last week, and you know, we talked after the show, and she's very much a homebody. So am I. I mean, you know, when I have to work late, it's a nightmare. I just can't stand it. Yeah. So, but I find that interesting. I mean, so millennials, they don't necessarily, they're not going out. They're not like the 80s. You know,
where you had to go out every night. It's Friday night. We got to go out.
So that's not the case.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think it's shifted to where it's more of a laid back culture where we'd rather stay at home and Netflix or you know, hang out and play board games rather than go out to the club.
Huh. Yeah. Now and see, that's the mindset I would have attached to nerds, because nerds are, I would think, are homebodies.
They don't want to go out as much. They're more inclusive or reclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now again, I'm going to call on your knowledge of your generation. the trends in Vegas are strange. We talked about cost of living in the last podcast, and you know, I rail on about why a gallon of milk is so high because we have 2 dairies in town
In Vegas. Yeah.
Yes, it irritates me a lot. But now I referred to them in the pre-show in the rundown as negative trends. And you tell me if they are or aren't.
Okay.
Now gas, you know, it's a huge thing here. Now we seem to be higher no matter what than everybody talking to me. I mean, my mom, you know, as you get older, gas becomes a very important calculation to you.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
Every gallon.
gas and road condition. As my dad got older,
Too many potholes.
Oh my gosh!
What the hell's with the potholes?
Yeah, my dad would always talk about, oh, what a wonderful road. It's so funny. So that's what, as you get older, folks, that's what you have to look forward to: road and gas prices.
Nice.
But
So the negative effect is gas prices increased.
Increased,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's just being the city in general.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely heading that because we have a few million people.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah. Now the gas prices, you know, I think we're and yet now do you engage when you go to the grocery store? Of course, we have point systems and cards and everything else.
yeah galore, just like
Yeah.
the casinos.
Do
right?
you save up points and use the cards,
for the gas?
bond
Sure.
cards for
Yeah.
gas? You
yeah,
do.
yeah. 10 cents off here, whatever
You do?
that is.
Okay, all right.
Gotta save a little bit.
See, now that's another thing that I have read about and researched about millennials is that they love that.
Really?
They love clubs. They love
Okay.
They love to acquire and accrue points,
Sure.
and then we'll
They've
use those
gamified
points.
everything.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now this all stems from or returns to the fact that millennials don't have discretionary funds. You
So
know,
they like to get a return on what they have spent.
Yes, and again, that goes to the casinos. They're trying to scrape every dollar out of your wallet.
Yeah.
Well, the millennials only have like $3. I mean, they're going to go in there and they have $3.
Right.
And so
they're trying to get
Las Vegas wants one of those dollars.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So gas isn't necessarily negative. Not really. I mean, it's always a concern.
Well, one good thing about Vegas is you can get pretty much anywhere in about 20 minutes. We're
Yes.
actually kind of a condensed city.
Yes.
And we do have a pretty decent freeway system,
bad.
not like LA where you're just in gridlock everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so gas really isn't a huge issue.
Yeah.
It is kind of fluctuating.
Yeah.
It's I think it's pretty low right now. It's
I think
kind
so.
of
Yeah, we're in the twos.
yeah, the
We're in the
twos.
twos. You're right about the freeway system. Las Vegas is based on a grid system.
Yeah.
Even if you suck like me and are lost, come
Yeah.
out of your bathroom, you can find yourself. You know, LA. I mean, you could
Yeah, good
make
luck.
2 wrong turns, you're in Yuma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what I have expressed a negative position on the Vegas Strong issue and the Vegas Strong marketing campaign. That's exactly what it is. It's marketing. What does your group think about that? What does your group think about domestic terrorism and
Well, I can't speak for the group, but I can say myself. I think it's a little bit of that advertising thing. I think it's kind of what they're clinging on to. Everybody's going to throw it up there, show their support, but who isn't going to do that?
Right.
For one, I find it a little disturbing. I don't know that we've lost the loss off of Vegas.
Yes.
I don't know if that's just me growing up
Yeah.
here, but now we're no longer Las Vegas. It's just Vegas this, Vegas that.
Right.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because I can steal a little cynicism from you, on this one. But yeah, I think it could be a little bit of a marketing ploy.
Right.
You always have to remember what happened, but I don't need to see it, perpetuated.
Right. Yeah. Now, Chris from Faces and Aces podcast, his suggestion I found to be the most appropriate. He thinks that the city elders or the Clark County should set up an area if you really want to see this the celebratory things that they have for the 50th
set up little
victim.
monuments.
Yeah,
somewhere.
and move it to there. It has become.
I would move it away from the Las Vegas sign.
I
That's
would,
got
yeah.
its own special,
Right.
meaning behind that area. So yeah, I would definitely think moving that to
Right.
another, a specific spot for it.
Yeah.
I think it needs that.
Now, as far as the domestic terrorism and the problems we have, do you personally Does that leak into your mindset when you go out to a concert or when you go out to have some fun with your friends at the nerd bar? I mean,
I actually was supposed to go see Incubus, a band, a week after the shooting happened. They actually happened to cancel after that, but it didn't seem to affect me. Like,
Right.
I wasn't afraid to go out, and see the concert. I try not to let it get to me in that everyday sense.
okay. Yeah. It doesn't affect me really at all. Las Vegas has been, a target town and will remain so for
the entertainment capital of the world.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Everybody's coming here for big time events.
Yeah.
So and we cover a lot of those. So we're
do.
always kind of out and about, and we see the security and we see the
Right.
what they do to prevent that type of things. The bomb dogs at the jewelry
Oh, they're
conventions.
wonderful.
And they always have
They're
preparations. So.
wonderful. Yeah, but no, I mean, it doesn't bother me. And we have different times of year where there's just giant clots of people.
Right.
And I mean, we're going to be a target forever. We're going to be a target forever. So I like what you said. I like the fact that there can be a clear separation between nerds and millennials. And the reason I brought this up is because I read an article, which I will link to in the blog, is that they're one and the same. They're one of the same.
Well, I like what you said about a square and a rectangle, a nerd can be what do we call it? A millennial. A millennial
Yes,
can be a
millennial.
nerd, but a nerd doesn't necessarily have to be a
Boolean
millennial.
logic,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think a lot of people make that error. John Oliver always makes fun of the Olsen twins. He calls them the Olsen twin. He said it's just one moving really fast back and forth. There's only one girl.
Nice.
And,
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think they are absolutely separate. I think they are absolutely they're a marketable group.
Separately. Individually.
Yeah. And I think it's unfair to label nerds millennials. And again, I think the more challenging and negative marketing campaigns are for millennials because I think they've leveraged our commerce. They've
Sure.
said
Everybody needs to focus on this group.
They've
right?
made themselves relevant. They've made their $3 that they have in their wallet relevant,
Right.
and everybody's just clamoring for these $3. And yet the nerds, like you said, are 30s, 40s, 50s, and I don't know if there's 60s nerds, but probably.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm sure there
Definitely,
are. Yeah.
That could have.
They have a ton
saved
more
up,
discretionary funds.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
they've
absolutely.
collected. They've had this passion for a long time.
For sure.
Yeah.
But thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. I don't have a lot of reference to either group, but because I'm an extreme homebody.
Right.
I'm absolutely don't want to go out. Really interesting what you said about the millennials that they'll run to the tiki bar, take a picture, and then run home.
For sure.
Really.
That's kind of the feeling I get from most people these days.
Do you think people are getting tired of the pictures? I joke about taking pictures of food.
I can only hope so.
You think so? Yeah.
Although I don't know.
Yeah.
There's people with thousands of Instagram photos.
I know. Now, I did see something in sort of a Google report today regarding the show on Netflix, Haters Back Off, I think it is. And it's a girl. It's a YouTube sensation. And she had so many followers that they said, and she was playing a persona, okay. So they developed a show for her. Well, it's just so typical of trends that Netflix let her have the second season, and they clipped her because now the haters that she deals with on the show comedically have said no. And so the haters have killed the haters. It's just so tragic. What we allow to control our consumption.
And it's so fast too that
God,
the studio acts that after 10 minutes after it's been out, and they get all these comments.
Yeah. And we talked on the pre-show, Pamela Anderson, and good for you, Pam. She said, what's going to happen. When you go, and this is she that said it, not me, by the way, all you crazy people. She said, you know what's going to happen if you go into Harvey Weinstein's home, especially if he answers the door wearing a bathrobe. you know.
Right.
And she said very clearly, if it, you know, it's common sense. If he
Get a clue, people.
yeah, if he answers the door in a bathroom, go home. If he says, you know, do this or you're out, go home. You know, but now that they're attacking her, just you know, and poor Pam.
You can't have any safe side of any argument now.
No,
You know.
no, and that's unfair. And see, again, people are. I've asked Adam this, and I'm not putting him on the spot, but the question is, who are these people? Who are these people that are attacking Pam Anderson? There's none of my friends. There's none of Adam's friends.
It's the Redditors.
Yeah, unless you got some closeted haters in your
Right.
group. I don't understand who these people are. Who want the statues taken down?
See, the
who
problem,
wants Pam Anderson?
The
you
problem
know?
with today's society is it could literally be one person that said that on the internet,
Yeah.
and it's cycled through so many different people. It feels like it's a lot of people,
Right.
You know, and
Right.
it's only one opinion.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem with the internet today.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much at one time.
Yeah. Now, I absolutely stand by my statements a couple episodes ago, that got such visceral responses. But I do have to say that it was kind of a test, because I don't have much to say that's truly controversial, but I did say that about Gal Gadot, and that was our biggest episode. You know, on YouTube
Yeah, we got
and all of the formats, you know,
Quite a lot of hits, you know, and it's funny that the controversy spawns, you know, the views.
Yeah.
And that's why people like, you know, what's her name? The little blonde girl that just spouts all the rhetoric. I can't think of her name.
Megan McCain?
No.
On The View?
I'll have to look that one up later.
Okay.
Neither here nor there, though.
But yeah, and I it definitely was a test, but I mean, how do you get 1 million views? You say something controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pretend to be a Nazi.
Well.
But we'll go away from that. I think Las Vegas is relevant. It will continue to be relevant. It'll take in and spit out what she wants,
Yeah.
and she'll be here way longer than all of us and all of these wacky kids that are coming up.
Very
now.
true.
That's right. She'll take $2 of the $3, and then she'll be happy. But moving on, we have really cool science heavy nerd alert. Adam.
Science. Yeah, let's start with our favorite guy, Elon Musk. His newest line of cars and even an electronic semi-truck he just unveiled.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool. It's got a couple of safety features like, no jackknifing.
Yes.
It's stable enough. It'll actually call, medical alert if the driver passes out. It's got some auto braking systems, stuff like that. Just keeping everybody safe. But the real kind of cool model that he rolled out is the new Tesla Roadster.
The Roadster, yeah.
Almost a flying car, he said.
Yes.
With slight modifications. He's got SpaceX and access to rocket engines and fuel and stuff like that.
Right.
It'd be real easy for him just to slap it onto a car, Boom.
Right. Well, no, he has, he has stated his intentions of getting that Roadster to Mars. Putting his SpaceX rocket packs on it.
Yeah.
And they've already tested and had a successful landing. In fact, Elon Musk was showcased on last week's or this week's Young Sheldon.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, Young Sheldon is the one who came up with his landing specs.
Oh, nice.
Apparently so.
Clever.
Yeah. But
Clever
it was actually Elon Musk on
was
the
he
show.
in the show, too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's clever.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Did you have the new Roadster?
They didn't picture the Roadster. They pictured the rocket boosters, and how the potential of it landing. Apparently there's the telemetry involved. There's a lot of math.
Sure.
But it's very difficult to land it on spot with what he's dealing with. But those are the ones that he wants to strap the Roadster to, or put the Roadster in and get it to Mars.
Ship it up to Mars.
That's right. But I hope he does it.
Yeah.
I'm soon to be a customer of Mr. Musk.
Are you?
I'm getting solar. Yes.
Nice. Okay, solar power for
solar
sure.
Power. Yeah.
I've noticed the 3 solar cities in town have switched to Tesla.
Tesla. Oh yes, they switched over. They made a big deal of telling us that.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Las Vegas is a center point for solar.
For solar. For
yeah.
Sure.
And I'd cover the whole house. They can't obviously,
Right.
but I'd make the
Why
whole
not?
house a reflector. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fine. I don't want any bills when I'm old.
Exactly.
But now the Semi, I thought was really cool. Plus, they had new technology for semi drivers and long haulers go to sleep often, and that's the number one killer on the road apparently.
Sure.
And they have a whole different set of technology for that. I think that was amazing. Amazing.
Well, I'm sure there's ways to keep track of their, heartbeat, pulse, that type of thing, and then if they happen to pass out or whatever, boom, you can, give them an electric shock or something. I don't know how it works.
Absolutely. Although I don't think Elon needs any more money.
Well, he does if he's gonna, send people to the moon every once in a while.
Yeah, but don't you pay? Yeah, you pay to get on there. You pay to get on the ship.
Speaking of paying, this Roadster, if you wanted one of those, is only $250,000.
Oh,
everybody's got that, right?
That's right. That's right.
But you can get 620 miles to a charge with this car. Pretty nice.
Wow. Okay.
And it says, I believe they're trying to get it up to 1,000 with their production model.
Wow.
On
Take that, Prius.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, right.
It goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. Because you need that kind of speed, right? And a top speed of over 250 miles an hour. Again, I don't know where you would drive that fast, but impressive, very impressive.
Yes,
all for an electric car.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's clearly
could be the future.
Yeah, clearly the plot for Fast and Furious 84.
Now, you had a note on here about net neutrality.
Yes.
I know they're having, some huge issues. Obviously, it's a big issue. Who's going to charge for what on the internet now, what kind of pricing system they may or may not have.
Yeah.
There are some countries that already have kind of a pay for play type of thing for the internet.
Yeah.
It's kind of a scary situation. I know you had a note, so maybe.
Well, it's a giant problem, I think. Yeah. I don't think we're ready for that type of. It's just internet commerce, but it's not commerce on the internet. It's internet as commerce.
As commerce, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you and your friends talk about this much, but it's a larger issue than the news cycles are giving it.
Oh, for sure.
It's basically the lines. The internet providers on the internet, they refer to it as the old days, like the Napster and Netflix, and it's the Wild West. Everybody was able to get on there. Startups were able to get on there. Netflix is a perfect example because they had a couple of DVDs in their garage and they decided to rent them, and they started their IP in their garage, and it was easily gotten. Now
everybody had the same access to
right.
it. That's the big thing.
It's going to be, generally speaking, a monopoly or an oligopoly where there's going to be just several, and they're going to provide these internet lines to a preferential group, paying for them.
And that includes speed.
Exactly.
If you want the top speed, you're going to pay for it. If you're not, you're going to get throttled back to something that's not even worthy of the internet.
And ostensibly, what they're making it, they're making it, instead of an internet, they're making it like a network.
You want
like
HBO,
cable.
You're paying for
Exactly.
it. You want Netflix, you're paying for it. In this case, you want Yahoo, you're paying for it. You want
Yeah, and for startups. It's going to change. I think it's going to be a sweeping change, like Dude Perfect, where they have millions and millions and millions of hits on YouTube
for absolutely no reason at all. Like all these YouTubers, they're going to disappear.
They're going to disappear.
Yep.
They're going to even the big ones.
Yeah.
Even the big ones.
Sure.
Because they're not going to be able to.
They don't have the access.
They don't have the access.
Those millions of people that are randomly virally hitting their video, they won't have access to it.
Right. And so startups are going to be virtually impossible.
Yeah.
So like us, our podcast, we have a relatively successful podcast and blog and the whole thing, and it's going to be very difficult for us to have a presence at all unless we're connected to, for example, Podbean is our media server. If Podbean is able to compete with and acquire their line, and again, like Adam said, with the speed.
Yeah, exactly. We could be paying Podbean, but they might not be paying enough to their provider for the speed to download our podcast.
And it would be like dial-up.
Exactly.
All these people at the bottom, all these startups are on dial-up.
Get one word at a time.
Yeah, so that's a huge issue. And then the next huge issue you guys have brought up a little bit, but I didn't realize what a huge issue it was. It was the Electronic Arts, EA, is now being fully investigated.
Yeah, by a couple of different sources now.
Yes, and a couple of different countries.
Yeah, Belgium, for one, is investigating them on possibly on gambling charges.
Yes.
Anything, according to them, that's a game of chance, which these loot boxes in this game are basically just rewarding you randomly with with items that will make your character better, not just items that will make him look different.
Right.
And that's their big problem. Is it's not just a cosmetic upgrade; it's actually something that will make your game better, and they're paying for it.
Right.
So pay to play.
Right.
So they're investing in gambling in Belgium, and then Hawaii, and launching an investigation for predatory practices, basically stemming from the same thing. If you get all these kids that love Star Wars, and that's this iconic franchise, so they jump on this game, and then they're purchasing these random packs. Who knows how much money they're going through? Maybe they got their parents' card. Rack it up. That's.
Yeah, I mean, Dad's card's just attached to PS,
Sure,
the PS
absolutely.
Network or Xbox. I'm not familiar with Xboxes, but I'm sure they have one.
Xbox Live.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I know what it is. I don't quite understand how it's being. The number one term that they keep using, Belgium, Hawaii, and a couple more states, is the loot box issue.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
So in the game, you would purchase a loot crate, which would have random items.
So this
for
isn't a
your
tangible
character.
thing like you've gotten in the past where you get T-shirts and shit.
No,
that's not that.
This is a complete digital item.
Okay.
You would pay 99 cents, whatever it is, for items in game.
Okay.
And those items are random.
They are random.
So you might not get what you want.
Okay.
So forcing you to
do it again.
Do it again and again and again. Hence gambling, right?
Okay.
There was some numbers. It would take you something like 4,528 hours to unlock everything in the game, or $2,100, which is on top of the $60 that you pay for the game.
Yeah, still.
That's a lot of money. EA put out a statement that they wanted to provide a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. That's why they have these giant hours, that dedicated to unlocking them. And the Redditors, they see right through that.
Sure.
And they downvoted that thing to hell.
Yeah.
EA's been voted the worst company in America twice already. So they're in a lot of heat right now.
Right.
And this could potentially change the whole landscape of, downloadable content or in-game purchasing.
Yeah. Now, bringing it back to Las Vegas. We've talked about the esports arena here in Las Vegas, and there's actually a second being planned right now. It's going to be sponsored by Caesars Harris. That one, the MGM one, is sponsored by EA.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, one of many sponsors, I have to say, but yeah. Yeah. Well, I wasn't aware of that the loot crate. I was aware of the tangible one where you get little statues,
right?
And
you get
t-shirts,
stickers, T-shirts, physical, things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the real problem is that they're spending money on non-cosmetic items, meaning items that don't have any effect on the game itself.
Sure.
And they're buying items that will literally put them ahead of any other player that doesn't.
Yeah. Now, I know the legal battle. They love to throw in gambling, which is why I love to talk about that because we're in gambling.
Right. Yeah. Right in the gambling heart of
the
world.
Is it gambling though? I mean, I guess the fact that it's
sense,
random.
In a sense, yeah, it's a random number generator. And that's what basically all slot machines are.
Right.
And in this case, it's randomly giving you loot.
Yeah.
That may or may not be what you want.
Yeah, but gambling to me is the paying to play with the potential of having revenue returned. I don't consider a digital loot, a sword, a helmet to be paid.
Belgium is technically is any game of chance.
Yeah.
Is gambling.
Okay.
So anything to do with odds and random numbers, that could be considered.
Okay.
Especially when you involve buying it, when you have a price tag on it.
Yeah.
So there's some lines there, definitely some some legal mumbo jumbo, but it doesn't stop the fact that they are getting investigated.
Yeah.
And definitely has the potential to change everything in gaming.
Well, and combined with the fact, like you said, they have a terrible reputation as
not a good reputation
internally.
Yeah, and all of their games mostly have these microtransactions set into that's how these games really make money. Not even on the $60 initial purchase.
Yeah.
So and I think the millennials are wise to this. We're not into spending more money for a game that we've already purchased.
Well,
these DLCs or what do they call them? season passes.
Oh, season pass,
season
yeah.
passes.
Yeah.
Give me the whole game at once. That would be nice.
I'd love to hear from a millennial parent.
Yeah,
that would be an
what they
interesting
think about all this
dynamic.
money they're spending on,
Yeah,
on one
exactly.
game instead of
So, well, I'm surprised by that. You learn something every day. I didn't realize that the loot
It's a
box
big
itself was not tangible and it was random.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm buying something, I want
Like
the
to know what
sword,
it
I want
is.
the helmet,
Yeah, exactly.
I want something.
Yeah,
you know?
if you give me $5 for a specific item,
That's right.
Maybe that's not considered gambling because there's no randomness to it.
Right. I mean, that's a consumer transaction.
Yeah.
What a great legal battle.
Exactly.
Lots
That's
of money.
all. Yeah, it's all the wording.
Yeah. They shouldn't have said a sense of accomplishment, though. That was
I know, right?
That little marketing guy should be fired at this point because that was that.
Yeah, it's just a slap in the face. to
Oh
all
my
the
God,
gamers.
that's throwing gas in the fire.
Yeah.
So Adam.
Yes.
Sophia. Did you see her on Kimmel?
I did. I watched the Kimmel clip. So
Creepy.
those of you that don't know, there's like a full-on android robot. I guess it's more of a robot. Android would be more kind of human parts, but a robot named Sophia that they have actually made a citizen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So she actually has more rights than some of the women there.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And she's had the talk shows and the interviews, and everybody wants to know what she has to say.
Right.
Some people are saying that she's alive. I like to think that's more a set of pre-programmed exchanges.
Yeah.
If
thens.
If you say something, then I'll say this back.
Yeah.
But it's fairly interesting. It gives a face to Alexa, if you will.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I think they're pretty close to being the same type of thing. A chat bot is basically what they are.
Yeah.
But she definitely has some interesting concepts.
I think so. I think the most interesting one, Hanson Robotics, by the way,
Yes.
out of the UAE. Excuse me, 1 second.
And Dr. David Hanson
Yes.
was the creator of Sophia, which is actually his wife's name. And she's had some interesting theories and thoughts about robot families and how she wants to have a baby per se.
Wants to have a baby. That caught them off guard, apparently.
Yeah, sure.
They say.
There's some interesting words that she uses, like having superpowers once she gets fully aware, if you will.
Right.
She's out there. She's
That's
a little
right.
creepy looking.
Yeah.
Some facial features aren't exactly worked to the max, but
I noticed. Obviously, human facial muscles are so hard.
oh gosh,
to
It's
deal
so
with.
minute.
Oh God. But her eyes. She did I think if I remember right, she winked.
Yeah.
Coyly. She,
Right.
haha.
Give you like a
Yeah, but apparently the baby thing caught them off guard, or so they're saying. I would love that if that's true. How creepy, Ex Machina,
Yeah, very.
what a great movie that was, and I think that's what they're aiming towards.
It seemed like they were kind of modeling it off of that,
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah, but no, not attractive. She wasn't sexy.
No, definitely still had a little bit of that uncanny valley, where you look at her and you're like, wow, that's a little unsettling.
Exactly.
I think Kimmel, or not, was it Kimmel
It was
or
Kimmel.
Fallon?
No, oh, Fallon. I'm sorry, it was Fallon.
Fallon, yeah, he was definitely a little unsettled by her facial features. But he did have a little bit of a conversation with her.
And you're right. I don't know if it was a pre-programmed script that they were running through, or if she was actually answering. I think we absolutely have the tech for her just to answer.
Well, she uses what they call machine learning.
Yeah.
And that's she'll learn from previous encounters.
Right.
And she has somewhat of a brain.
Right.
So she'll kind of learn from your facial features. She'll learn from your body mechanics.
Yeah.
And then kind of interpret that for the next time. So she does kind of learn. It's a little creepy.
That's right.
But yeah, this is maybe the first step into Skynet.
Yeah.
If you will.
That's right. Now I didn't know it was his wife's name. You said his wife's name.
I believe his wife's name. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I love that type of technology. I think it's fantastic. We're not quite to the machines taking over.
No, like
although
she-
between Alexa and Nest and everything else, they could probably shut my house off. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
A good old Hal smart house, right?
but but we're not there yet, and I think we can still enjoy the technology.
We're still lifetimes away from a fully aware AI.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they want to parade out to the masses to show you that maybe this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
but this is just a pretty face behind the programming.
I think so. Yeah, neither one of us are going to see that. I think it's going to be well beyond us, but who knows? I mean, we suddenly make
with
leaps.
the exponentiality of technology.
I know.
You know, you just don't know. It could be next 10 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, could have our fully aware robot.
Well, Sam, it's time.
He's going to miss it.
He's going to miss it.
Infinity War trailer just came out.
Infinity War trailer.
It was, like I said earlier, the most downloaded trailer of all time now.
Yeah.
The culmination of all of these multiple movies that Marvel's put out.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing, I hope.
I sought it out. I knew it was coming. I didn't know when. And I made reference to there's a YouTube channel called One Media, which is I usually catch all the trailers on that for some strange reason. And I was within 1,000 of seeing the thing, and then later on in the afternoon it was like 500,000, 750,000.
Sure.
It was
exploded.
It exploded. People were waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
They even did trailers now of people watching the trailer.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, Marvel loves that. Kind of goofy. You know, I mean, I don't like.
I kind of like the reaction videos.
I guess they do. It depends on who. That's what. Well,
it depends on who it is.
That's when
if it was like Kevin Smith or something like that. Like,
right,
exactly. I want to know what his reaction is.
Yeah, that's when you see the 40-year-old shut-ins with nerds watch with their cats watching the thing.
That's right.
But
with their Captain America T-shirts.
Yeah, but I got a whole bunch of things. But Adam, this is your segment, so go. Talk about it.
I mean, there was just so much in this trailer. There was, they're grouping off certain people.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Hulk come down through the roof of Doctor Strange's. So you got Tony Stark and Strange and the Hulk, which kind of cool. Leads me to believe they might be doing some sort of Marvel Cinematic Universe Illuminati group, which was one of Marvel's, team ups to protect the world. One of their kind of similar to the Justice League, if you will.
Right.
So we see like kind of some of those people coming together now.
Right.
At the end of this phase 4. This is going to culminate a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then you got Spider-Man in the new Iron Spider-Man suit.
That's right. And his little hairs are standing up.
Yeah, he's got the Spidey sense now, finally, which was one of my biggest negatives from the first movie.
Was it really?
Yeah, he didn't ever have Spider sense.
That's right. Tom Welling didn't fly, and Spidey didn't have his hair.
Right. And he's got the new costume, which is pretty cool looking.
Yes, I did see that.
We finally see Thanos.
Yes.
There's bits and pieces of the Black Guard, which are his generals, his kids, basically, whooping up on some of the people.
Right.
You got Captain America coming out in the beard.
Yes.
And kind of the black suit. If you don't know, there was a period of time when Captain America lost the shield and he became Ronin. And he wore all black and he didn't have the shield. So this is kind of the Marvel Universe, cameo of that character.
Master without a sword.
And so, and then of course, Black Panther yells at him, get this man a shield. One of the best lines in the trailer.
Right. Right.
Obviously Thanos comes out of the portal.
Yep.
We see him. A lot of negativity toward Thanos though between the internet peoples. They don't like his face or his skin color.
I must agree. I think he looks like one of the little dudes from Clash of Clans.
Okay, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was a weird choice for them not to put him in battle armor.
I didn't notice that. Okay.
In all the cameos of Thanos so far, you see him with his helmet on, and you're kind of missing that key piece in the trailer.
Right.
But we'll see. I think he looked fine. It shows him throwing down Spider-Man and punching Iron Man in the face. I think it's definitely going to be one of the more brutal Marvel movies. Somebody's gonna die. It seems like. This is kind of their ending.
Well, especially the battle scenes on Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. They got some alien invading army coming down.
Yeah.
That Cap and Black Panther have to fend off.
Well, and clearly they're stealing the stone out of Vision's head.
Yeah,
which
cool.
may or may not. Well, no, it doesn't really make sense. But Paul Bettany.
We see a human Paul Bettany.
Without, that's right.
Yeah, which could be like a dream sequence maybe, or something to do with the Mind Stone.
Right.
We may or may not get that part. We're actually missing one stone still.
Yes.
It shows Thanos with 2 of them in the gauntlet, which is still formidable in itself. He's got the purple one, which, if we remember, is from the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Which actually, if Thanos has it, that means he's gone through the Nova Corps. 'Cause it was actually left with them.
Okay.
And then he's got the Blue Stone, which is actually from the Tesseract, which we see in the trailer. Loki's
holding
possibly giving it to Thanos.
Yeah.
We'll see if he again switches sides,
Right.
because in the first Avengers he was supposed to be giving that to Thanos, the Tesseract.
Okay.
We'll see, man. It's going to be a great culmination here.
Yeah. Well, what I remember most about when I read the comic books as a boy, is that the one thing that they're staying true to is that Tony Stark has the weight of the world on him, literally. And he blames himself, and clearly from the trailer, it
does set that up a little bit.
Yeah, you can see
you can see him in some anguish.
Yeah,
kind of on his knees.
Exactly, and Thor. You mentioned armor. The lack of that with Captain America.
Yeah.
Thor changed his
He
seemingly,
did change his.
and of course has the eye
Got
patch
the
from
short hair and the
short
eye
hair.
patch still. From,
Yeah.
Did you see Ragnarok, by the way?
I have not seen it
Okay,
yet.
that hasn't come out to
there's still
DVD
people
yet.
in the theaters.
Yeah,
Adam.
people in the
What
theaters.
do
I
think?
got you.
And you mentioned the children, Thanos' kids.
Yeah.
I don't know the actors behind it, but Ebony Maw and Proximo Midnight.
Proxima Midnight. There's a couple others I can't think of their names, but yeah, they're
and they hadn't
definitely in the
shown
trailer.
up since artist renditions.
Right.
I saw drawings of that a couple of years ago.
There was, I think it was Comic-Con that they had statues put up of the Blackguard and Thanos, which they thought it was going to be the unveiling of the Fantastic Four coming back to Marvel.
Right.
Because there was 4 of them.
Right.
But there was really the Blackguard. So that was kind of their first unveiling, was at Comic-Con.
Okay.
They had some full life-size statues of them.
Yeah.
They actually all look pretty cool, pretty bad A.
Now, one thing I will bring up that I remember, and I looked it up, and there was reference and appearance, and I'm saying this to ultimately bridge into thanking my mother for my mug. If you see, Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer actually was in this storyline, or a satellite storyline, back in the day.
Sure. There's plenty of characters that are cut
Yeah.
out now because of licensing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was curious to see if you had heard that of any little talk
Tidbits of
Yeah,
Silver
I mean-
Surfer. I believe that Silver Surfer is still part of Fantastic Four and Fox's licensing.
Okay, so
and that's why they had that kind of.
okay, so it's a real world issue.
Yeah, it is a real world.
Okay, I got you.
Last I heard, the Marvel Fox merger is still on hold. So,
Okay.
so no confirmation yet on Silver Surfer coming to the MCU.
Well, yeah, everything's on hold in Hollywood.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
right?
literally. Well, I think it's gonna now. They shot it concurrently. Did they? Correct. I mean, they were shooting 1 and 2, or they shot one.
Actually, it's a 1-part movie now, I believe. It's
Okay.
just going to be Infinity War,
Oh, it is. Okay.
not part 1, 2.
Oh, I see. All right. And then that all changes. I mean, right? They're gonna start working on
Phase 3, I guess, or
Planet
Phase 4.
Hulk and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what the last thing I'll say about the trailer is that, of course, the end part of the trailer, Hulk makes mention of the ship he's on, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy are standing there.
The Guardians, yeah.
There was one thought process that they won't be in the film, other than that scene.
It seemed to me like in the trailer they definitely kind of split up the groups.
Right.
So it looked to me like Thor is still in the kind of space with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's kind of on a spaceship, trying to pull something together.
Sure.
Right? So he might have like his own little storyline
Okay.
without them, maybe
All
with
right.
the Guardians.
Yeah.
And they won't necessarily, connect until the end of the movie.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. They got a lot of characters they got to get to.
Well, it's a big deal. It's
Yep.
going to be the big one. And on a side note, because I know Adam is a huge DC fan, and with the recent controversy here at the old Pod Bay door regarding Gal, the director of Wonder Woman 2, same as 1,
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins, has announced that it's going to be largely a love story.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge plot part of Wonder Woman 2. That's all she said.
But didn't her love interest die?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve Trevor can't come back from the dead. He's human.
That's
He's not a superhero.
That's right. That's right. Well,
we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know nothing about the Justice League. See, the Justice League to me was a Saturday morning cartoon,
Right?
And it was
Super Friends.
Yeah, it was very colorful.
Oh yeah,
and very
remind you like the 1960s Batman.
Yeah, very form of an eagle with the little
Right,
monkey.
for sure.
I mean, it was in an Aquaman had the original suit, and
definitely
the
wasn't orange
Jason
and
Momoa.
green. Yeah, you got dolphins jumping out from behind him
Exactly.
and stuff. Yeah,
and
that's a little weird.
Yeah, and they were always located in that little space station, and they would always come and go from there, and yeah, it just wasn't it wasn't dark, it wasn't the dark, what Zach's done now. So
well, I hope they put out a director's cut for Justice League.
I'm sure they will.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if the studio wants to, because I kind of heard the rumor that Snyder wanted to come back and finish, but with him having the family issues, they took that as their controlling point to throw in Joss and take control of what they wanted in the end game.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll get a director's cut and I can see the full length Snyder film.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy the first two.
Yeah. Well, for as crazy as Las Vegas really is, we're way tamer than old Hollywood. Over to our left there, or right.
Yeah.
But this week's Gear Grinders, you actually can participate in, I hope. Victoria's Secret every year has a fashion show, and that generally speaking, again, it's marketing. It's to launch what's coming out. And the way the fashion world works, it's pretty black and white. You see what's designed, and it's very flowery, it's very ornate, and then a very much trimmed down version hits the stores for the everyday woman or man to buy. And so what you see on the runway is not what comes out on a retail level, not to us at least. And that's what it's for, brass tacks. That's what it's for, to sell underwear. But the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show has been a staple of the holiday television market for many years, and I have enjoyed it for many years. Now, this year, it was just on November 28th, and a week later it was actually done. And huge controversies. They were shooting in Shanghai. They were using a stadium rather than a controllable sort of area. And Katy Perry apparently was involved in a parody involving China, and therefore she was out. They wouldn't accept her visa.
Oh, gosh.
Gigi Hadid was also involved in a parody type thing that anytime China, communist China, is put in a bad light, you're gone. You're out.
You can't come here.
Yeah. So Gigi was replaced by there were 55 girls, largest ever, for the runway.
Runway girls.
Yeah. In an hour, you barely see half of that. Harry Styles took Katy Perry's place. I've seen Katy
interesting. Did he wear the dresses?
No, he did not. He did a great job. It was his first fashion show.
She was the host.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
She was a musical guest. They really don't have a host, and they had Miguel on there. They've had The Weeknd. They've had all different types of things. Bruno Mars, but he did a great job. It was his first fashion show of any type, first time in Shanghai, and so he did a great job. And the dude doesn't sweat. He was jumping
just
around.
Unflappable, huh?
Not a bead of sweat. But that aside, now what I love it, and I love it for one simple reason. It's beautiful.
There's no explosions.
There's no explosions. No, there weren't.
Fireworks,
there were no
maybe?
pyrotechnics. No, it's beautiful women, beautiful clothing, an amazing production. Done and Dusted is the production company, basically speaking, and they do a fantastic job. It is visually stunning, which is exactly what it's for. It is not making a statement.
Well, when you know the ins and outs of an industry, you can appreciate what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes.
So you're looking at it from a production standpoint as well.
Yes.
Right? The things that are going on with the camera works and how they're panning from one place. Right. So that's what you really enjoy about it. Not just the women in the clothing, but the business part of it.
Yes, but first and foremost, I enjoy it as a man.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Now, this is the first year, and this is where my gears were ground. This is the first year where and again, I ask Adam rhetorically, who are these people attacking? And the first article I saw,
they're attacking the runway now.
yes, they're attacking the runway. The first article I saw, they
It degrades women.
well, that's always the case. Victoria's Secret degrades women.
Even though it's been going on forever.
Yeah, and ask all the women buying the bras. That doesn't degrade women.
Very degrading.
But no, they don't represent. They have no diversity. Well,
oh gosh,
I don't know. I don't understand why .coms like Jezebel and all these other allow these writers to write something that is clearly clickbait. That is just false. Good Lord, they had more diversity now than they had at any year, mainly because it was in Shanghai. There were many Chinese representatives. They were black, they were African, they were Brazilian. Alessandra Ambrosio, she is the rock solid #1 model on the runway with them. She retired after 17 years.
Oh wow,
yeah, and she's
was her last
gorgeous.
show.
Yeah, like 2 kids later, it's astounding what they do. But it was her last show. It was fantastic. And Adriana Lima was there. She's been there equally long.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But that's absolutely false. They were diverse as diverse gets. The next article I see is they were insensitive in the design of their costuming. They had representing a Mongolian theme, a Native American theme, and they found that insensitive.
Okay.
Yes.
That they were themed based on race.
Yeah, and they found that the white women wearing the Indian garb was offensive.
Oh God.
I need to talk to an Indian. It's like I'd like to hear from that group and say, well, were you offended? How could you be offended? And of course, every article always goes back to demeaning women, objectifying women. Again, talk to the 55 girls and how thrilled
see if any
they were.
one of them were
exactly
objectified.
Yeah, objectify me, because the minute they're objectified by Victoria's Secret, their career goes into high gear. Please. And of course there was a huge controversy. The #1 representative for Shanghai fell.
That's always like the worst.
And I applaud Victoria's Secret. I applaud Done and Dusted. They could have glossed over it. They didn't. They showed it on television. They only have an hour.
Sure.
And they showed it
So
on
they're not
television.
cutting it away or
Yes.
jumping a commercial
Yes.
or hey, they get her up,
Yeah.
move it along.
Yeah, and oh no, she didn't get right up.
No.
The next girl helped her up,
Yeah.
and of course she was devastated. And
Oh gosh, she started crying on the
yeah,
runway.
it was.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
It was
that's
devastating.
Yeah, that's.
But
the
you
thing,
know
right?
what? They depicted it correctly.
Yeah.
They show it was a very touching moment. And if their goal was to have internet explosion, I'm sure they did. But
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. I thought it was very touching. They could have glossed over it and said, screw it. Now, all the way back to the beginning of this show, is Las Vegas relevant? Is Victoria's Secret relevant? That was the last article I read. And they again, who is this? The hue and they use the phrase hue and cry, which the connotation of hue and cry means there is a large group.
Okay.
I want to know this group.
Yeah.
Someone let me know who this group
See,
is.
the internet, they just like to assign random,
That's right.
groups or phrases to just,
That's right.
abstract ideas,
Yes.
So it's these people, those,
Yes.
even though it's just one opinion.
Exactly.
Like I said,
Exactly. And there was one plus size model that got into the news cycle and said, you're not having plus size models. No. There are fashion runways that are geared for that. There are many fashion runways that are geared for that, but not the Victoria's Secret Holiday Runway Spectacular Fashion Show. Honestly, it is again for the marketing purposes of their general underwear line, and it's not for plus size. They have plus size, and they have other. So again, I think that's unfair to classify them as not showing that diversity. But again, I'll end this because it's running a little bit long here. But stop. Yes, they're relevant. It's beautiful women on a runway wearing beautiful clothing. It's hot dogs. It's apple pie. It's beautiful women. It's visual. It's global. They were diverse. They showed a girl falling and the devastating effect it had on it. Is it shallow? Of course, it's shallow. Fashion is shallow. You know, I'm wearing a pair of shorts and a T-shirt right now. I am not fashion forward today.
Right.
But fashion is shallow. Is it shallow? Yes. Is shallow relevant? By God, it is. You know, and I don't need all these people. But again, my hue and cry, the two of us, we want to see who this group is. We want to hear who the group is that's throwing this
that's got a problem.
False clickbait out there. But leave my superheroes alone and leave my angels alone.
Right.
Leave the Victoria's Secret thing alone. They do a great job.
They've been doing it for a long time the same way.
You know, and they suffer the same ills as any other commerce-based system. Their revenue has been going down, and that's why they went to Shanghai, because they have a new market. So give me a break. You know, and then I saw an article about transgender on the Victoria's Secret runway. I don't know. I threw my hands up on that one.
It's just like everything. You gotta get the check boxes down.
Let's hear from the football fans that also like Victoria's Secret. But lastly, on Area 52, I found a couple of interesting ones. I absolutely didn't know this. And Nevada has more mountain ranges, 300.
300
than any other state in the union.
That seems like a lot.
It is
individual mountain ranges with names.
Individual mountain ranges that have been named, categorized, and
it seems like an
recorded.
awful lot because we're like 50% desert.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, I guess it would have to be all up around the Rocky Mountains, right? Are
Well,
they individual little, just like?
The one thing I will research and include a clickable link to is what the classification
what defines
of
a
mountain range is.
I mean, because we're in Vegas, we're in a valley, and we have mountains surrounding us. So I would maybe assume that, like, say, Black Mountain, maybe that's they consider that a mountain range in itself, even if it's just like 2 or 3 mountains and some hills.
I believe
so. 300, that's definitely possible.
300.
That seems like a lot, but
yeah. Now, second place is very close. Second place is California, but only because of their square mileage.
Sure.
But 300. Now, an interesting thing: we also have more hot springs. Also at 300.
Also 300.
Yeah,
that's also weird because we're 50% desert.
Yeah. Now, they included occurring naturally.
Okay.
I don't know if there are some man-made hot springs out there. I don't know. If there is one, I'm sure it's in Vegas.
Yeah, right, no doubt.
But,
we have a man-made lake, so.
300 naturally occurring hot springs, again, way more than the second place.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
I've actually hiked to some hot springs not too far from here.
Yeah?
Yeah, down by Lake Mead.
You know, they always recommend not going in the hot springs,
right?
Because there's an abundance of sulfur.
Yeah,
and,
or bacteria.
Yeah, I have been to, I think, 2 hot springs of the 300. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And it does carry quite a smell.
Right.
Yeah, it smells like eggs.
Sure.
It smells like rotten eggs. It smells like your natural gas.
You don't necessarily want to get into it.
Yeah.
Unless you're feeling adventurous, but
and if you saw, what was it? The reboot of Vacation. When they
got yes.
That was horrible.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis. And it was fantastic. But Nevada, we've always talked about it. At any given time, you can go snow skiing, water skiing, hiking, boating. And we have a fantastic state and a fantastic place here in Las Vegas. So, you know what? Just that alone, 300 hot springs makes us relevant right there.
Right there.
That's right.
Come on and see the hot springs.
Come and see the hot springs. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out at thepodbaydoor.com. Our expanded and enhanced blog is now available at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com. All of our social networking is available on our .com. Just go right there, and all the big F's Facebooks and Twitters and whatever bird you like to click, you can click it right there. But check into our blog, and we have some great articles coming up for that, as well as the clickable links. Also, check episode 41 coming up next week for my interview with Sophia. If you like singers and all the lounge scene here in Las Vegas, that'll be fantastic. But Adam, thank you. This was fun. This was episode 40.
40. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Later.
Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.